Hello? Yes? GPU stockage didn't happen to me, but I had it with CPU a few times. Immediately after PC boot, not during game. GPU can have something similar, otherwise it's gremlins. Their CPU would hear audio crust. What did you do? I restarted my game? Or my entire computer. I went, okay, ended stream, restarted my computer. What do you want me to say? Wait, what? Oh. Hold on. Okay. I think we're starting up. Welcome back. Thank you. How was everyone during this big BRB? How long was I streaming before this? Out of curiosity. Because obviously I don't know now. Jeez. Happens again, try unplugging headset. I actually did that for the HDMI port, but not the USB. Just for the record. At least an hour, 30 minutes. Okay. Not that it matters. I have a hard set time I need to leave anyway, but that isn't here yet. Everything look better?
Hello, Alex?
Hello.
We have a problem. Probably nothing
Yeah.
to worry about, but...
Oh.
Did the train stop?
Yeah.
Didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. What happened?
It's jammed. When the Combine shut down the quarantine zone, they must have tightened security.
Which means?
Yeah, you're nowhere near...
It looks
near
better,
the junction.
actually.
You're just outside the QZ. And this is as far as we get by train.
Then I'm headed on foot.
Good. I'll see if I can get you in some other way.
Are we sure? This looks better. Yes? Give me that. How am I not wearing this? This is one of the... I haven't... You do realize I turn off my PC every night. I'm like a responsible person. There we go. Safety first, folks. Safety.
I got a dead zombie here. I thought the Combine sealed up the QZ.
This one must have squirted out. I've heard they've had trouble with barnacle spores outside the containment area. But not about fellas like this.
Probably not a one-off then.
I doubt it.
Mikey, what are you implying? I'm crazy. Wait, no.
Would you look at that? Resin. And if there's resin around here, there should be a Combine fabricator. Keep an eye out. We might be able to upgrade your firepower a bit.
Even in our earliest experiments in bringing Half-Life to VR, we found that players enjoyed exploring every nook and cranny of the environment. With the increased fidelity of VR, players
Bye,
were
Rat.
not only expected to be able to interact with a vast array of objects, but they also had a strong desire to find something useful from time to time. This was so universal among testers that in addition to more searchable locations and interactive objects, we added a new resource, resin. Level designers could place this new resource in fun and interesting locations that weren't tied to game progression, rewarding players wider-ranging exploration. We also tied this new resource to a longer-term goal in the form of weapon upgrades, further motivating players to explore the environment. Deep scavenger hunts and keen observation would result in more resin to spend as a reward.
Stop. I'm not No, my PC was off last night. This feels better for me. You know what I think it is? Nvidia, I think, has some kind of setting where over time it'll like save up rendered like shadows in video games. Because I remember I launched Control for the first time and I had like 20 FPS. I stream it, I have like 60. I think the first time I launch a high graphic game like this, it's gonna be ass. And I need to relaunch it later, I think is what's going on. Does that make any sense?
Huh. I think I can reroute this with my multi-tool.
You what?
It's a tool with multiple functions. So, you
Cool.
know, multi-tool.
How beautiful it is. This is just better. Get this out of my head. I'm tired of the joke. I'm gonna try, I'm gonna re-up it. See what happens. That, and we're in the new thing again, instead of Vulcan.
Alex, that thing's incredible. You need an incredible brand name. Something that really sells it.
Who am I gonna sell it to?
The Combine's not going to be here forever. You should be thinking about the future, Alex.
Well, how about I call it the Alex?
Does this look good?
It's a little derivative of the Russells, but yeah, provisionally, sure. The Alex.
Yeah, the Alex.
Oh, come on.
Internally, we refer to this type of puzzle as a toner puzzle, due to its similarity to a real-world cable toner tool that can be used to locate electrical wires in walls. The toner mechanic was conceived as a tool for designers to craft player experiences around knowing that the player had to put their head and hands in specific locations. The initial design merely required the player to use their multi-tool to push a ball of energy along a path, similar to a child's bead maze toy. While this simple design was successful at getting the player to put their head and
Maybe.
hands in particular locations, the lack of branching meant that the player wasn't required to make any choices, nor was there any possibility of negative consequences. To address these issues, we added the rotating junction elements, which allowed for branching paths and became the player's primary means of interacting with toner puzzles. While the toner puzzles ramp up in complexity throughout the game, this first toner puzzle is designed to use a minimal
it's on my left
number of
hand.
elements
That's
to
kind of
introduce
annoying.
players to the key ideas that power flows through wires, power can be rerouted by rotating junctions, and power has an effect on the physical world, such as turning on lights and opening gates. The sparking electrical outlet that branches down toward the
God, I
floor
have
is
so
not
much
strictly
information
necessary for this simple
stored on
puzzle,
my hand.
but it was added here to
Here's
expose
him
players
talking.
to its
Here's
potential,
chat.
since it was causing
Here's like
confusion in later
time,
puzzles when players were
and then
seeing
here's my
the
health
design in more
behind the
complex
time
configurations.
at the same time. My left hand has everything, and the right hand just has gun. Guess works, but
Oh, a health station.
Russell, the Combine use these. Are they safe for people?
Yeah, I use them all the time.
Hey, you were right. These are great.
hello? Get out of here. Anyway. Oh. No, not the box I thought it was. Heavy objects with both hands. Yeah. Like the game. Or chill out. Fine. I just don't. I push it with my body. I'm constantly. Hey. That's right. What a flex. What do you mean?
From our earliest experiments in VR, we realized how critical high quality, high density lighting was to conveying a sense of realism. In game development, any technology choice involves trade-offs
Bye-bye, rat.
between quality, runtime performance, and development time. For Half-Life Alyx, we chose a high-quality, high-performance light mapping solution which required a significant amount of offline preprocessing. We performed the light map preprocessing using a render farm, which could take several hours for a single map at the highest quality, and we put a lot of effort into mitigating the cost of that high iteration time for designers on the team. Specifically, we implemented a real-time approximation to the final lighting result, which allowed designers to light scenes in real time with confidence that the high-performance light maps would match their intent. Most lights in Half-Life Alyx are baked into a single term that describes distance falloff and shadowing, allowing us to change the brightness and color of lights in real time at no cost. Encoding also allows us to apply shadows from dynamic props and characters without having to render any static geometry into shadow maps. Our light maps store directional information using
concerned.
the popular ambient highlight direction encoding, an improvement over Valve's own radiosity normal mapping technique pioneered in Half-Life 2. This new light map encoding ensures that the bumpy surfaces can appear bumpy even when not under direct light.
Tyler, this is the wrong room.
It's a good illustration of this technique. As you can perceive, the surface detail
I need to
in the
avoid
background's
referencing that
light
video game.
source is off.
We should take the lid off the bottle first. I don't think you can, at least not with my thing. Yeah. Like, here's me trying to grab it. Ready? I don't even push things using my booty. Wait, I think you actually said body, not booty. My B. I did say body. But it's the same thing. Remember mention the puppy eyes? What puppy eyes? What's up?
Barnacles, while an iconic Half-Life creature, presented some interesting VR-specific challenges. While their tongue is intended to trap hasty or unobservant players, those caught by them often didn't realize what was happening. They would become disoriented or even motion sick as the barnacle lifted them up to be eaten. These unfortunate players almost universally died and failed to learn what was happening even after multiple encounters. To address this issue, we created the tongue as a particle system. This allowed us to both physically simulate it as well as reliably position it for maximum visibility. If a player does get grabbed by a barnacle, the tongue always wraps right in front of their face, no matter which direction they try to look. This makes the tongue almost impossible to miss and visually guides the player's eyes up to the location of the barnacle, so they know where to shoot to free themselves. These fixation visuals that kick in as the player is being lifted not only serve to communicate the damage the player is taking, but they also help to reduce motion sickness by narrowing the player's field of view. These changes, combined with sound effects and other visuals like seeing stars and blacking out, eliminate confusion for players and enabled us to bring this classic enemy into the world of Half-Life Alyx.
God, they're gross. Oppressive model alarm. What do you mean? Man, now that I know about the it goes to your hand trick, I just I want that. Give me that. Feel so lazy. There isn't armor. No. It is a currency. You'll see it used eventually.
We got a lot of positive feedback from our initial experiments requiring players to perform a series of physical actions to reload the pistol. Specifically, ejecting the clip, retrieving a new clip from their backpack, inserting the clip into the gun, and chambering around. Players enjoyed learning and improving at this skill. We experimented with using a single button for both ejecting the clip and
it's the return!
These operations to two different buttons was more interesting, even though it was more mentally taxing. In fact, it was more interesting precisely because it was more mentally taxing, as players would frequently mix up the buttons under pressure. In the early stages of the game, players would be fumbling for clips, ejecting the clips when they meant to be chambering around, and generally making a mess. To those of us observing the playtest, this looked like things had gone horribly wrong, but players themselves consistently cited this as a high point of their playthroughs.
Yeah, no, it's...
Because of the physical nature of the reload, and the skill required,
Yeah.
players blamed themselves and not the game for the mistakes made as they were learning the reloading sequence.
Yeah.
In this area, we provide a number of static targets in the form of barnacles for players to shoot at their own pace. increasing the likelihood that they have at least a few reloads under their belt before moving on.
I did kind of wish I could put it away, but you can't. Anyway, how's it going? Gotta keep one chambered. Oh, really? Last one left? Are you serious? I'm touching my ceiling fan, by the way. Very cool. Can I get some bullets from you guys? No? Oh, okay. Feel less bad. Especially now. SJ, are you taller than your fridge? I think yes. Here, tell you what. Oh yes. Hello, Leech. Welcome. Yes is the definitive answer. Even though I already knew. But I knew it was something. Wait, hold on. Did that? No, you're lying to me. VR, you lie to me. Yeah, my hand's here. How dare you?
2 knives left.
Damn. What do you mean, damn? Well, if it's a short fridge. I don't know. Thought you froze. Nope. Someone asked me if I was taller than a fridge. And I apparently felt the desire to go confirm that, even though this was supposed to be the year of streamer doesn't mention his height. I guess I didn't mention it, but I won't mention it. Period. So it could be a short fridge. Who has a short fridge in 2021? I might. Leash does. I'm gonna keep calling them Leash because the whole name. It's the whole name. Yeah, this feels much smoother to play in comparison to the last time I played it. Which should be no shock. Especially, okay, better than last year and better than earlier today. That's for sure. Something, I bet there's something down here. That's fine. Who has a short fridge in a house where 5 people live in 2021? It could also be us. You don't know. I'm just saying, we could be European. My accent's ambiguous enough. You have no idea where I'm from. Anyway. So we have 2 Mikey, 2 fridges. Yeah, I could have 2 small fridges that I'm taller than because I'm only 5'4". Oh, you could tell he's not lying because of how long it took him to come up with an answer. Because I'm 5. Exactly. Sure. Mm-hmm. I'm not mentioning it. Shh. I don't wanna. Tired of mentioning it. Because I feel rude. Although the stream's better, right? Is it like... oh, hold on. I wanna experiment a little bit more. We're gonna experiment more. It's already on high. So it's time for this. That's right. It's time. We're trying it. Oh! Yeah, okay. Sorry, I didn't know I should have mentioned it. No, it's fine. It's a thing of I'm not making jokes about it, I'm not naming what it
The
is.
quarantine zone is behind this hatch.
You know?
Yeah, that's where they keep it.
There's a difference.
I'll look around for a control panel to open it up.
But to be fair, with what happens on VR streams, it's kind of difficult not to... I can't ban... Hey, buddy. I can't ban... Not that I would. Excuse me. Not that I would, but I can't ban people asking me what my height is. You know? And I won't. I don't think I ever would. Rat! Nothing happened. We'll just wait for my next complaint. And I hit the fucking ceiling. Then you can ask. And I'll go, just tall. I'm just tall. Yes. I don't know. Maybe 1 over average? I don't know. Could be my answer from here on out. No. Because I, even if people meant it sarcastically, I felt like a bragabout. And no one likes a bragabout. So. That's all. Something in here. Something in here. Oh yeah, I knew it! Oh yeah. Oh, come on. Really? Didn't we do this? I don't understand why you don't want to mention it, but alright. That's just it. I felt like I was mentioning it too much. So now I'm going to attempt to avoid it when possible. I guess if someone asks me, I'll answer. But maybe maybe I have made such a big deal out of it. More than would ever be possible if I just didn't... Whatever. Hello? Hello?
In prior Half-Life games, while playing as Gordon, the player saw Alex use her multi-tool to hack into Combine security systems in order to unlock doors or perform other acts of sabotage. This presented an opportunity for us to represent our hacking skills through VR-centric minigames. All of our hacking minigame designs
Oh my
were built
God.
to leverage the independently tracked head and hands common to
Yeah, but
today's
I'm not
VR
gonna, like,
systems.
whatever.
We wanted to encourage players to use both hands simultaneously and move their head to create parallax to understand the spatial relationships within the puzzles. This locker hacking puzzle is based upon one of our earliest prototypes, in which the player was tasked with using a tool in one hand to paint a path on a sphere held by the other hand.
Oh, come
There
on.
was just something fun and unique about using all of the natural degrees of freedom of both hands to solve a puzzle in VR. In its simplest form, this puzzle solution is straightforward, but the difficulty gradually increases throughout the course of the game by introducing static or moving obstacles of various shapes and sizes on the sphere.
You know, Russell, now that I'm walking into the quarantine zone, it just hit me. I don't know anything about the quarantine zone.
Well, actually, the word quarantine comes from the Italian 40 giorni, which means 40 days, the period that all ships were required to be isolated before crew could go ashore during the Black Death.
All right. Cool.
That's the control panel. They've probably scrambled the circuit. But considering no one would be dumb enough to open the hatch, it shouldn't be too hard to put back.
This means you have trouble fitting into smaller cars. Very funny. It's not funny at all, I say after laughing. Hello? Oh, the rat's in there. No. My rat friend. I'm sorry, buddy. Bye-bye. Oh! Okay.
There we go, finally.
I'm gonna head in. How far is Fairview Junction?
You'll go through the old subway tunnels on your way to the train yard.
Have they started moving Dad yet?
I don't think so, which is good news because we've still got time.
Oh, that's great.
Or bad news because they've already killed him. And you don't need to move a corpse, you just bury it.
Whoa. Russell, are you seeing this?
Zen.
All right,
This is Zen.
here we go.
Area-ish. Ugh, get that thing out of my face. Shoo! Don't ma- Fucking... The planet. Kinda? This was the terrain, essentially. It was ugly as, like, fleshy, gross. The whole damn thing. Keep an eye out for them resins. Oh. Wow, okay. Loading. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, this is so much better. Like before on the... You had to do this to me, didn't you? You... Hey, we're in the VR home! Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Why? No! Why? Okay, there we go. Okay, we're good. It's good. I bet it's because I grabbed those bullets. You know. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I might start using that skip video thing that Sylvie mentioned. That might be a good idea. But then I can't do this! Wow! If I run on the lowest settings possible, I can then just not crash the game. Is this thing held together with duct tape? Was all my, like, oh wow, this is so cool, like, for vain? In vain?
There we go, finally.
What happened? The game crashed,
How
yeah.
far is Fairview
Hi,
Drive?
Cosmo.
You'll go through the old subway tunnels on your way to the train yard.
Russell, are you seeing this?
Whoa.
All right. Here we go.
Okay. Oh boy indeed. But it looks great. It's running great now. Before it had some issues. This is on the maximum. And I hope it shows. Hey.
Hey, Russell. I just found a loose syringe of God knows what. Is this medicine?
Does it have a skull and crossbones on it?
I don't see one.
Probably medicine then.
Feels like a Left 4 Dead level. Hello?
In our early prototypes, players could heal themselves by grabbing a Half-Life 2 health pack and pressing down on a controller button, which obviously wasn't a very interesting VR interaction. During the development of Half-Life Alyx, the Counter-Strike team added health injectors into CSGO as part of the new Danger Zone game mode they were developing. When we saw this, we felt that an injector would work well as an intuitive healing item in VR as well.
The way we gotta go.
Players would press a button to arm the injector as a way of indicating their intent to use it. This prevented unintentional use of the injector and gave us an opportunity to showcase how physical the interaction was going to be via haptics, animation, and sound. Some testers even initially responded with dread over the fact they were going to have to use a needle on themselves and looked away when performing the injection action. We also had to create approximations of the player's arms and body, as playtesters all had their own preferences for where they wanted to apply the injection. We even added the ability to inject into the head, since so many players tried to do it just to see if it would work.
Let's keep doing that.
We had to ensure that players would become proficient at reloading their pistol during the early levels of the game, or later encounters in the game would be overly difficult. The prior map contained only static targets in the form of barnacles. Players could engage the barnacles at their own pace, but there were enough of them that players would need to reload at least a few times. This first live zombie is locked behind the chain link fence and cannot reach the player.
17. That's a good amount.
Encounter by shooting the lock on the door. The placement of zombies in the upcoming section of the game is designed to require plenty of reloading to ensure that the player builds up this skill.
Ignoring you. No, not yet. Oh, this is good though. Oh, there it is. Let's say there's no way this is just peanuts. Also, are the peanuts new? I remember I'd break these, and there weren't peanuts. That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway.
Virtual reality provides the opportunity to add physicality to gameplay, but this needs to be balanced against player fatigue and accessibility. For example, we experimented with a low ceiling in this area, requiring players to crouch the whole time that they made their way across the tops of these train cars. Playtesters did not enjoy having to crouch for so long, so we raised the ceiling.
Two. I feel so much cooler. Like before I was like, whoa, and I'm just like, okay. He blows up, he blows up. Next. Hello?
Oh boy.
Yeah, be careful.
RDX?
Breakable glass panels in Half-Life Alyx are yet one more system designed to convince players that they are present in a living, breathing world. The panels detect the position of an incoming impact and procedurally generate new, smaller glass panels in a radial pattern around the impact position. These new panels can then break into smaller panels themselves, and so on. We found that players would often break glass panels accidentally, then spend time testing just how interactive they really were by trying to break them more, eventually realizing that yes, the glass really did shatter at the appropriate location. At one point, we experimented with building special puzzles out of breakable glass, but in the end we found the glass to be more appropriate as a passive interactive element in the world, one that reacts in a satisfying way to a variety of impacts, from zombie melee attacks to incoming gunfire, or any other physical interaction in the game.
Cool. Hold on, so G-Man made or was aware of Alex's dad getting arrested / kidnapped because he's testing Alex? Maybe, but it was death. He literally died and then undied. This reminds me of COD. But the zombies? Or just... gamer? Hey, Necro, you wanted to know what the resin was for. Hey, asshole. I'll get to you. This will be useful later. Try to make sure nobody comes in through there. Oh, hey. I'm making a lot of noise, though. Yeah, I'm not a gamer. Hey, I've beat Celeste Chapter 9, but I'm not a gamer. Mikey.
Got it. Will it work on the Russells?
No, but it should fix up that pistol nicely. Good thing, too, I gave you one of my lesser guns.
Oh, thanks.
Russell.
Well, you know, in case it doesn't make it back.
Tell you what, Russell. If I die, I owe you a gun.
You owe me a gun anyway. That wasn't a gift. That's my gun.
Did I miss it, or are you going to show me? I'm going to show you now. But first.
Weapon upgrades are a new feature for the Half-Life franchise, and fictionally this mechanic paired well with Alex's tinkering nature. We approached this design challenge first by thinking about what sort of upgrades could be meaningful and also provide additional value to players without removing established interactions. With limited resin to spend, the upgrade system also provided an avenue for players to personalize and invest in their favorite weapon, or streamline an interaction on another weapon, increasing its value to them. For example, the reflex sight still requires players to physically aim, but it improves the feedback on exactly where their shot will hit, and exposes previously hidden enemy weak points. While some players enjoyed this feedback and new targeting opportunities, others didn't and would instead focus on upgrades that suited their style of play. This allowed players to spend their limited resin on upgrades they cared about the most. Another aspect of weapon upgrades that we focused on was not necessarily obvious when we first started to design and test combat in VR. Due to the more physical nature of combat in VR, it can really push on the mental and physical capacity of certain players, as they're required to utilize both their hands and move their head to take in the environment dealing with enemies. While this is a very natural experience, there's also a lot going on at any given point with reloading and combat. As we observed players in some of these more intense combat situations, we started finding opportunities to allow some upgrades to reduce the number of times a physical interaction was required, or reduce the complexity of a particular interaction. The autoloader on the shotgun is a good example. When added to the shotgun, the normally slow, methodical action of feeding shells into the gun is replaced with a far simpler, faster interaction of slapping the shells into the autoloader before they get automatically fed into the gun. This allows players to look around, focus less on the gun while reloading, and take in more of what's going on around them.
I'm gonna do a pro gamer move. There it is. Do you have a special thing? Kinda. No, you don't. Okay. Cool. Anyway, that's what it does. Upgrade your stuff.
At the beginning of the Half-Life Alyx project, we had the expectation that players would want to take a break after 30 to 45 minutes, since that's what we were seeing with the lab and other small-scale VR experiences available at the time. Because of this, we designed the pacing of the game's levels around play sessions of that duration. Over the course of development, however, the game itself included more downtime between intense combat encounters, and the comfort of the new crop of HMDs improved significantly. In fact, as the game progressed, we found that players were happy to play for hours on end. At the end of the playtest, players would often remark that this was the longest they had ever played VR in a single session.
See, people sometimes have this stuff. Isn't that neat? Little imperfections that make them explode. Hey, what's up? You got anything? The dummy thick head? Oh, wait. That's nice. Okay. Isn't this game cool? Okay. Cool. Wait. Still has bullets, as annoying as that is. Excuse me? What's that beeping? Oh.
Nice shooting, Alex.
Thanks. You know, know, for all your talk about what a lesser gun this thing isn't half bad.
Yeah. Hey, jackass. Why? Seriously. Really? Hey, there we go. Nice. Woo. People don't seem interested in this, huh?
Until this point in the game, players have only seen headcrabs attached to the heads of zombies. This led playtesters familiar with headcrabs from prior games to anticipate encountering them on their own. We decided to play up this anticipation by foreshadowing the first headcrab encounter with a headcrab that drops out of a vent before disappearing, as well as headcrab sounds in the environment, including a threatening headcrab sound coming from the partially boarded up doorway ahead.
It's a little slow, but fun. I like it. Well, I mean, to be fair, this is the very beginning. It certainly becomes much less slow over time. Hey, how you doing?
Yep, there it is. Found it. Probably only one of those.
Yeah, totally. Going to have to like fucking quick draw McGraw reload. Minute. Tutorial? Kinda? I mean, you'll hear them talking about it. Oh, this is like introducing headcrabs and making sure we reinforce the reloading mechanics so that way later on it isn't too difficult.
Okay,
Speaking of. Little shit. I just don't know what to say. I'm comfortable being silent. That's fine. It's okay. I just wanted to ask. Because we've been rather quiet today, other than me crashing. That's alright, though. Nothing wrong. Just wanted to ask. Loading times are faster.
Heard anything about Dad, Russell?
This looks like a...
No.
Nope.
Radio silence.
Not gonna finish that sentence.
Damn it.
This looks like
Probably fine.
a Binyamine
They're taking him to Nova
cog.
Prospect to torture him. That's the torture place. So they're hardly going to torture him before they get there. Fine. Logically speaking.
I have one bullet. Well, I have two, but it's annoying to reload without one chambered. I should probably do this. It's a bit of a waste, isn't it? I get one later anyway. There's one around here. It's like guaranteed. Question is, where is it? Pretending he knows Russian. That's me. Pretending to know Russian. That's totally what that was. It wasn't me saying something. Ah. Wow, he was weak. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Anyway. Through the hole. Well, realistically, I should do this. Hold on. This is the gun hand. If I'm out of combat, I'm using this. Funny dialogue.
That there is a floppy disk. We used to store information on them, with magnets, if you can believe it.
Huh.
Specifically, 2 micrometers magnetic iron oxide, 3 micrometers barium ferrite, 1.2...
Russell? How do you know all this?
I'm reading it here on my computer. I downloaded the internet before the war.
You downloaded the entire internet.
Most of it.
Nice.
Yeah, it is.
Nice. Fun fact, comrades from Ukraine. This. All the more upsetting when I just pointed in the general direction and said Comrade Land. Typical American. I like back up.
Russell, are you seeing this?
Possibly. Are you seeing floating garbage?
It looks like it's just cardboard.
Right. Well, seems harmless.
Yeah. Weird, though.
I know, common American mistake. I mean, I knew for a fact he wasn't Russian. In fact, he doesn't really like Russia, but to be fair, who does? I really think Russians like Russia. Kinda meanie. Hey, look! It's the puzzle. Wow.
What is that?
Is there no commentary here? Awfully peculiar. I don't have any commentary here. Anyway, check this one out. Baby.
It looks like pictures of Vortigons.
Here's the baby. Enslaved Vortigons from Zen. Killing baby freed Vortigons. Vortigons now allies of the humans.
Wait,
Freeman.
that one's Black Mesa.
Somebody spent a lot of time on this.
Vortigons. Little yelling dogs. Floating men. All that jazz. Who even drew this? Aliens. Vortigons! As you'll see very soon. One of my favorite characters who only exists for like 5 minutes, but they only exist for 5 minutes, so. Anyway. Puzzle. Let me see if I remember how to do this. Yep, there it is. Right there. But I have to fucking make a physical space. Bye, puzzle. Although I could have sworn there was something out here. Bullets or resin. Get some. Oh! Missed this.
There are many musical themes and motifs used throughout the game to represent unspoken aspects of the story and lore. For example, the Vortigons play an integral role in the subplot of the game, and we chose to use music to subconsciously communicate the repeating nature of their role both in the timeline of Half-Life Alyx and in the larger timeline of the Half-Life saga. Within the music in this scene, you'll hear variations of themes used throughout the timeline of the game, from the very first sounds of the game up to the finale in the vault. Variations of these motifs represent the imprisoned chanting of the Vortigons,
Oh, I see.
the extraction of their energy to confine the G-Man, as well as historically familiar sounds representing the vortessence itself.
There are two layers to the markings on the walls in this area. The square and dot patterns, that are the functional elements of the environmental puzzle, and the mural representing the Vortigaunt's interpretation of the events of the Half-Life saga. For the first few years of development, this area only contained the dot patterns supporting the perspective puzzle, but as we fleshed out the rest of the level, we found that playtesters responded especially positively to the Vortigaunt's wall markings leading up to the hideout. It was at this point that we realized that this area could serve as a canvas for our Vortigaunt's artistic magnum opus. To do this, we organized the dot patterns into a sort of swirling star field behind the Vortigaunt's art. The imagery itself, which was inspired by petroglyphs and other traditional rock art, portrays many significant events from the Combine invasion, painted hurriedly by the injured Vortigaunt, almost as if he was trying to capture what fleeting memories he still had of the Vortessence from which he had been severed. The fact that Vortigaunts have a complicated relationship with time gave us a lot of leeway in terms of drawing this as a strict, linear timeline. For example, you may notice that the Vortigaunt uses contemporary Combine troops as shorthand for Combine invasions from the past, or that the timeline is just generally hazy. A little from the past, a little from the present, and a little looking forward to the future events of Half-Life 2.
That one. I like this Lovecraftian sounds. Cool. Yeah. Here's the real Half-Life lore for you. Vortigaunts are cool. You'll see why soon. But yeah, Vortigaunts, like, in case you couldn't tell from this, fucking worship Freeman because he essentially freed them from this guy. This was the big baby you fought at the end of Half-Life 1. Because they were slaves before, and now they're free. The one man. Anyway. Sprint, but not sprint. And they have fortune-telling abilities, and they have a hive mind thing, and more, as you will tell very soon.
Alex, you alright? What's wrong?
I'm fine, Russell. What's up?
I'm losing your signal. Alex? Alex? If you can still hear me, keep heading in the same direction and try to get above ground.
Russell? Russell?
Doggy. If you have questions, let me know. We're about to begin.
During our earliest attempts to raid Alex, our instinct was to have her react to absolutely everything. But what we learned from playtesting was that Alex reacting too much could actually be off-putting. Say a player's in a really tense, zombie-filled level, and they're having a great time, but suddenly Alex is in their head, sounding angry, or frightened, or anxious. These Alex reactions were creating a disconnect between how the player was feeling and how the character they were role-playing as was feeling. So we took a lot of those out. The Alex reactions we left in tended to be the ones that were practically universal. Alex's reaction here to the surreal entrance to the Vort hideout is a good example, where it was just so different from everything the player had seen up until then, and kind of takes you by surprise. We watched so many playtests where the player would see it and say, "Whoa, that's weird." So we had Alex say the same thing a second later, almost like an echo.
Chill, Russell. We're just on an acid trip with the alien. Yeah, really.
Oh.
Hey.
Alex fans.
At your service.
You received my messages.
I did?
Come. Enter.
Okay. Thanks.
You are
So, what's a Vortigaunt doing here?
cooking.
Right, but I mean in general.
I have a brain injury.
Oh, I'm sorry to...
My brain is injured.
That's terrible,
Ow.
and I hope... Look, I'm actually pretty busy looking for my father. Eli Vance.
Vance. Yes.
The Combine have him, and I really do need to get moving.
The Combine. Yes. Do not go yet. I must show you something.
Look,
Okay.
I appreciate...
This way.
I can't stick around.
It is important.
I know, I'm sure it is.
The Alex Vance must go this way anyway. Oh.
Ow. Ew. Hello, Mario.
For as long as we've been making choreographed scenes like this one, we found that there are two types of players. Those who become engrossed with the characters, and those who tinker with everything around them, paying little attention to the scene's action. To make these environments entertaining for the tinkerers, we usually add objects for them to find and play with. Since this scene is split into 2 rooms, we were able to add a large number of interactions to this first room for players to discover after the Vortigaunt has moved to the second room. Some interactive objects are pure physically driven toys, like the dangling headcrab corpses and the hanging pans. Others are animations triggered by the player's actions, like the way the caged headcrabs react to the player approaching or shooting them. One type of object on the table is a squeezable headcrab heart, which is a remnant from an older version of this scene where the player would revive a wounded Vortigaunt by squeezing nectar from these hearts. While that scene didn't work out, we found the experience too compelling and, well, too gross to completely cut from the game.
Do some salt.
The fundamental challenge of any choreographed dramatic scene like this one is making sure that we entertain the player without undermining the delivery of critical gameplay information. In this case, the player needed to leave this scene with the knowledge that the Vortigaunts have been imprisoned and that the player should seek the Northern Star. This particular scene went through many different variations during development, from a cooking scene with an extremely traumatized Vortigaunt to this humorous version. We even experimented with an interaction where the player was required to squeeze the nectar of several headcrab hearts into the Vortigaunt's mouth to revive him. While this was a memorable and novel VR interaction that ensured the player was engaged with the scene, the interactivity on the player's part often resulted in playtesters remembering the actions they took, but not the critical gameplay information. Eventually, we ended up with this more humorous scene, which struck an effective balance between entertainment and goal delivery. Importantly, we also distributed the scene across 2 separate rooms, breaking the information delivery into 2 steps. The first room where the player meets and learns about the state of the Vortigaunt, and the second room where the player is given their new goal. Separating these physically into rooms seemed to help players more reliably retain the critical information delivered in the second room. While this scene did undergo a lot of changes, one story beat remained virtually unchanged from the very first roughed-in version. The moment the Vortigaunt tosses a headcrab carcass down to the player and yells, "Sustenance!" Right from the start, this moment always got a great reaction from playtesters and remained all the way to the final product.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to. I thought he'd wait. I'm sorry. If you want me to, if you want me to tell you what he said, I can. But I mean, she also said it. We're speaking of stuff that she said.
I will help the Alex Vance. Look to the Northern Star.
Why?
For guidance.
Okay, thanks. Are you done helping?
I am not. Here. Sustenance.
Yes.
I'll eat it later. Thanks for the help.
You'll be welcome.
Anyway, sorry. I got a duck. Everything. Whew. Down here. Sorry, Mikey. Gun. Look, what else are you gonna do when there's sustenance? Huh? Gotta grab with both hands. You know? You'll get it one day. Is will be. Bye.
Alex, the signal's back. Can you hear me? Are you okay?
Russell, I'm good. How's Dad?
They've got him on the train. He's on the move. You've got to find Fairview Junction before they get there.
I'm working on it.
Come on, just let me. Need more physical room. Okay, whatever. Speaking of, there's gonna be a Golem game. Yeah? Let me see if I can hammer it home. Are you saying I should play that? You saying I should bring my voicing talents into the world? My ear is so irritated. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Now I'm starting. No, I know exactly where we are. Hey.
So anything happened when you cut out?
You're not gonna believe this, but I ran into a Vortigaunt.
A Vortigaunt? What was he doing down there?
Hiding. I think he escaped from the Combine.
What did he say?
You ever meet a Vortigaunt? He said crazy Vortigaunt.
We spend time on every game design element thinking about how the player is expected to learn of its existence and understand its details. Some design elements are so important that the game experience will break if the player doesn't understand them, while others may just be fun diversions or rewards for exploring the game's systems. Any required element will require work on our part to teach the player. In Half-Life, we try to teach elements in ways that feel as natural as possible, entwined within the core flow of the game so that you don't feel like the game just stopped to teach you something. We don't always succeed, but the attempts usually lead us somewhere interesting. In this case, we need to teach the players about the armored headcrab. The key elements that we want them to understand are that the headcrab is invulnerable on the top, but has a weak spot on its belly. We would also like the player to learn that the headcrab exposes its weak spot right before it jumps, but this isn't required. The player can fall back to shooting the weak spot as the headcrab scrambles around after a leap.
Good to know, Mikey. Didn't think about you playing, I just wanted to let you know, because the noise reminded me of Golem. Sustenance!
Teaching design elements of enemies is always tricky. Players have shown us for years that it's really hard to learn something new while under attack. We've also seen that invulnerability, in particular, is a difficult enemy feature to teach. If players are blasting away at an enemy, they are often not paying close attention to the impact feedback. If the enemy is vulnerable in some areas and not others, players may kill the enemy with a spray of gunfire, not realizing that some of their shots did nothing, while others hit critical weak spots. So when we approached the armored headcrab training, we knew we'd need to do significant work. The first step was to avoid placing the player under duress by containing the enemies inside this wire fence. Next, we placed headcrabs at eye level facing the player, exposing their bright, pulsing weak spot. If the player shoots one immediately, they are rewarded with a unique death effect where the headcrab explodes into chunks. This effect is designed to show the player that they did something special to kill this headcrab, as opposed to how they've been killing headcrabs up until now. There are a couple of other pieces in the setup here that are important. A second headcrab is placed right behind the lock the player must shoot to enter the cage, encouraging the player to notice the weak spot and try shooting it. 2 more headcrabs are loose in the cage, scripted to repeatedly attack invisible points on the wire fence. This ensures they are constantly demonstrating the way they expose their weak points before they leap, and this allows players to practice hitting the weak spot from behind the safety of the fence.
With any section of natural entwined training, we've observed that there's rarely any one thing that succeeds in teaching all players, nor do 100% of players leave with the perfect understanding we'd like. If player understanding is absolutely critical, we have to build a more bulletproof gate that ensures the player demonstrates understanding before moving onwards. In fact, we do just that when the player acquires the shotgun in the next area. In the case of the armoured headcrab, however, playtesting showed that we could afford to let a few players through with less than perfect understanding. This section gave them enough of a chance to experiment that they got a sense of what was going on and further encounters with armoured headcrabs solidified it. There was still a lot of iteration on the visual design of the headcrab to further drive home its armour and weak point, and we also added a custom response to shotgun fire. In that case, the armoured headcrab flips over and wriggles for a second, exposing its weak point. This was added to reduce the resource loss we saw happening in players who were still struggling to understand the armoured headcrab mechanics after they acquired the shotgun.
Okay. Cool. Let me out. Ugh. I keep thinking that I'm safe to like continue on without the standing around, because this might be a long thing if I just stand around listening to it. First.
Oh, that zombie has a shotgun.
One challenge we always face when giving a new weapon or tool to the player is ensuring that they collect it before moving on. In these cases, we try to establish some kind of gate that the player can only get past using the new item. This can be especially tricky in cases where we are giving the player a new tool that doesn't fundamentally change their capabilities, as in the case of the shotgun, where almost everything that can be done with the shotgun can also be done with the pistol. In contrast, the pistol gate, where the player had to acquire the pistol before being able to shoot the lock off of the fence back at Russell's lab, was simple to design and execute. For this shotgun gate, we not only needed to ensure that the player collected the shotgun, but also that they learned how to load it before proceeding. We playtested a number of approaches to teaching the reload mechanics during combat, and repeatedly found that it didn't work. When faced with learning a new, complex task under duress, players would retreat back to using their pistol, which was a known quantity to them.
So shoot the belly or the back. You'll notice I only shoot the belly.
Whoa.
Do you hear that?
Yeah. Let's get this shotgun and get out of here.
Once the player has collected the shotgun, they are only halfway through the shotgun gate. Next, they need to learn how to reload it. To drive home the necessity for the player to learn how to use this new weapon, we added an incoming threat, using a variety of audio and visual effects to sell it. While our goal is to make the player feel like they have a limited amount of time, the time pressure is entirely fake, and everything proceeds based on the player's progress in loading the shotgun for the first time. Once the shotgun has been loaded, a short timer starts, after which zombies burst through the walls. If the player happens to look at the walls before that timer is up, we abort the timer and introduce the zombies. The combination of a timer and a look trigger is a common trick used in places where we'd like the player to see a neat visual moment, but we can't wait forever or the game simply won't progress. The breaking of the walls by the zombies is the final step in opening the shotgun gate. Having new enemies open the way forward when they enter the player's space is a fairly tried and true method, but it's never one we're particularly happy with. It's always a bit too convenient and lacks agency on the player's part. But in a setup like this, which contains a novel puzzle, a new weapon, and its associated mechanics, plus an ambush, we're already dealing with a lot of design complexity packed into a small space, and further additions would complicate the scenario even further.
Yeah, I was totally paying attention. Is that a vape? Yeah, I think it's okay now too. I mean, look at it. It's pretty good. You know what I mean? Hey, fellas. Are you, all there is in this room? No, there's that. I think I'm good on this front. I have a buttload of ammo. Yeah, so. Oh. It's the subwoofer they use. I love the bricks on the wall. Look so detailed. I know. It's so good. It's so good. It's driving me crazy.
the visual design of the shotgun included a number of challenges. Shotguns in games are generally powerful, and we communicate that power with bulk. As a result, they're big and held in two hands. But our experiments with two-handed VR weaponry didn't reach a level we were satisfied with. When holding a two-handed object in real life, the object itself provides a physical connection between the two hands, and that constraint allows players to stop thinking about it consciously, in addition to providing physical feedback. In VR, without that connection or feedback, we found that players had to keep maintaining their own internal sense of how they were holding their two-handed weapon, or they dripped their hands into positions that were hard for us to reconcile. As a result, our two-handed weapons required players to play along more than we liked. Since one of our core goals with Half-Life Alyx was to allow players to fully immerse themselves by ceasing to think about what they were doing in real life, we decided to focus on single-handed weapons, including the shotgun.
Our initial instinct with the shotgun design was to use a regular real-world shotgun, but modified, with a sawn-off stock and barrel so it would seem less cumbersome when held with one hand. This approach always resulted in the handle being at the rear of the weapon, and we ran into the problem where the weapon always felt front-heavy. Obviously, the VR controller in your hand wouldn't reflect that, leading to a disconnect between what you were feeling and what you were seeing. Placing the handle more centrally and underneath the weapon helped avoid this disconnect. This implied centre of mass wasn't really maintained well as the weapon accrued upgrades throughout the game, but the first impression was the most critical. Since we were going with an odd form, we were keen to use common shotgun visual elements wherever we could to help with player recognition and to ground the design in some reality. One element we borrowed was a common shotgun tube magazine that stores shells horizontally in line with the barrel, and we were just able to fit the gameplay requirement of 6 shells without the overall length becoming unwieldy. You can see the effort we had to go for to further shell capacity in the design of our autoloader upgrade. Our first reloading mechanic was based on the realistic insertion of 1 shell at a time. Playtesters found this to be overly tedious, although we did receive some positive comments that it made them feel like an action movie star. The simple addition of allowing players to insert 2 shells at a time solved this issue, allowing us to keep the good parts of the design whilst losing the bad. We were keen to reinforce the whole action movie style and experimented with a big gesture the player could do to finalize reloading. The inclusion of a pop-up mechanism allowed us to add an additional step to the reload that further separated it from our other weapons, yet had a satisfying flick of the wrist to complete the action.
Again? Oh great. I'm freaking out for no reason. Give me this. Yeah. Huh? No, it has bullets in it. Shit. Not you. Anyone else? Am I even hurt? No, not at all. You live. The lighting in this game has always been good. Yeah. Truly. What gun should we upgrade? No, I remember when we got this. I think I don't really need a laser sight on this, I don't think. I'll take a look at these anyway. A bullet reservoir would be nice. But we don't have enough. Burst fire could be good too. Laser sight's ass. So we'll save. We shall save. I feel like we must have missed a resin then. Because I feel like we should be able to upgrade. Oh hey. We have a resin. This is genius. What? Be nice to have that. But the laser sight sucks, so I don't really care. It's helpful with the grenade launcher later, but... Set up this way. Oh, thanks.
I'm out.
This is the right way. I know this. Hold on. I have a plan. Very smart way to upgrade a weapon. They thought about this very good. Very good.
This.
Or is this the right one? Must be.
As with the shotgun and the pistol, we needed a gate for the flashlight to ensure the player couldn't proceed without it. We tried a number of designs around the moment where the player collected the flashlight, but they all ended up being about the player picking up an object, and not specific to that object being a flashlight. Given that the flashlight's primary function is to provide light, we felt the gate needed to be an area of darkness. We also really wanted the player to be excited to get the flashlight, and that meant they had to experience darkness before collecting the flashlight. This turned out to be an interesting challenge, because we already had many poorly lit areas prior to this, and now we needed an area that was so dark that players would correctly interpret it as a gate. Our initial implementation was simply to ensure there were no lights within the hallway. Unfortunately, playtesting immediately showed that wasn't enough. Some VR headsets have extremely low black levels, and on those headsets, enough light bounced in from this lit area to enable players to move forward. In addition, our low ground fog provided just enough contrast in the dark hallway for players to make out the scene and stumble through it. Even once we removed fog and bounce light in this area, we saw yet other ways that players tried to move forward. Some players would fire their pistol repeatedly, using the muzzle flash as a strobing light source. Others would use the teleport targeting UI to probe the room, because at that point in the project, it had a small light source attached to it. In the end, we disabled muzzle flashes inside the hallway, and the teleport UI lost its light. The final step was the addition of some dialogue from Alex, commenting on the darkness and her need for a light source. This was aimed at solving a perceptual problem. Up until now, our game has taught players that their goal is to continue moving forward. And any time that forward progress is blocked, it's because there's something in the local area that needs solving. Given that structure, it's entirely rational for players to do everything they can to find some way to see in the darkness ahead. Alex's dialogue is aimed at telling the player that the game has recognized their attempts to move forward here, but the solution lies elsewhere. Subsequent playtesting showed us that this dialogue, coupled with the brightly lit area containing zombies off to the right, helped tug players past the darkness entrance and on towards the flashlight.
Let's hear it.
Dark. You'll need a flashlight.
I think you're right.
There it is. Hey, fellas. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me! That was my gift to you! It's my gift to you in particular. Jackass. Okay. I think we're good. Oh, you're alive. Hey. Shit. Hey.
Like hacking and environmental puzzles, toner puzzles like this one are often used to relieve tension from combat and engage the player's mind in a refreshing way. This puzzle introduces a new junction type, which has 2 inputs and 2 outputs, as well as branching circuits. Functionally, it's just a simple airlock. Only one of the main combine gates can be powered on at a time, with an additional wrinkle that the smaller side gate on the return path must be powered down separately. In addition to providing a break between hectic combat encounters, this puzzle is a gameplay mechanic refresher, since it's been some time since the player has seen a toner puzzle, and the next ones start to ramp up in complexity.
Great. Hey! Ah, you jackass. Yep, that's what I thought. Great. it's the rhythm of the night. I'm missing a heart. Holy moly. Alright. Where's the jackass? I remember my clip. Where is he? There's one head crab in here. Just headshot him again.
Everything all right?
Nope, I'm good. I'm good.
Not a problem.
Oh, thank God.
Not this time? Oh, there you are. Oh, good. Oh, no. Mm-mm. Oh, God, and these are the tougher ones. Hold on. Where are you at? So fucking... Wrong hand. Okay. Less impressive than last time.
Four shells left.
Anything for me? Oh, big boy. No? Okay.
Last shell.
In prior Half-Life games, the flashlight was attached to the player's body, which meant that it always illuminated the world from the same angle, relative to the player's point of view. With tracked hands in VR, we had the opportunity to let players manipulate the flashlight directly, and playtesters reacted very positively to this new freedom. In fact, our earliest implementation of a flashlight in Half-Life Alyx was an object that could be picked up in either hand or even set back down. This allowed the player to put the flashlight down somewhere, providing illumination for themselves while they accomplished another task. Unfortunately, this presented the possibility that a player could leave the flashlight behind, which would have been a game-breaking scenario. Implementing the flashlight as an object that players had to hold also prevented them from holding something else in that hand, which was tedious to manage and simply too punishing of a trade-off. In particular, it meant that weapon reloading was a nightmare, because the player no longer had a free offhand to perform the reload actions. In the end, we settled on a flashlight that attaches to the offhand and turns on and off automatically. This fixes the issues with reloading in the dark, potentially losing the flashlight, and has the nice side effect of not requiring the allocation of a button to toggle the light, which is especially helpful on controllers with fewer buttons. Since the automatic on-off behavior is controlled using level logic, designers could make performance and quality trade-offs in different areas of the game. After all, if a player could turn the flashlight on at any time, the rendering overhead of this shadow-casting light source would have to be accounted for throughout the entire game. On the other hand, if the flashlight is known to be off in a given area, a designer can make use of the resulting rendering headroom by increasing the fidelity of the environment in other ways.
After the MCU, we're gonna watch the Alien movies, right? I mean, we could, maybe. Depends on where they are.
Shortly after adding the flashlight,
Drink some water, listen to
we
this.
discovered that playtesters would frequently brace their gun hand with their flashlight hand. This meant that the players had to orient their flashlight hand awkwardly to align the light with their aim. We decided to make this an automatic behavior of the offhand whenever it was brought close to the grip of the gun. If you do this, you'll see that the offhand grips the gun in a natural pose, and the flashlight aligns with the aim. In fact, if you look closely at the end of the flashlight, you'll notice that it has a ball joint. This allows the flashlight to articulate based on whether the offhand is gripping the gun or not. The ball joint has 4 different orientations, one for each gun, and a neutral orientation for when the player is not supporting the gun to aim. These 4 orientations ensure that the flashlight is always pointed in an ideal direction for the player. In one-handed mode, the flashlight attaches to the gun hand at an orientation that is ideal for all scenarios.
Cool. We still have the Christopher Nolan Batman movies to queue into too. Whoa. What is this giant ass scorpion? Okay. Let's try seeded mode for a minute. I've never liked seeded mode though. Glad to see. Accessibility. And now hybrid.
Big fan of this flashlight.
And it's not unlike yourself. It's also sensitive to the dark.
Oh yeah?
Meaning it should go on automatically when the lights go out.
Oh, nice.
Hold on. He doesn't know I'm seated. In here? No. Somewhere in here. I don't think it is actually. I don't remember doing that. Well, anyway. Here I am crouching constantly now. I guess. Okay. That's enough. I wonder if I should do something else tomorrow. I gotta be here a long time. Most people think it's really cool. Unfortunately, we'd already played through this once. At least I have. You were crouching? Didn't seem... Well, I was sitting, actually. Now I'm standing. But... Hello? Like freedom. Peace. Security. And freedom. For my new empire. Your new empire? Yes. 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 There's no... I can't go back. Is it through here? Where is it? Where is it? Let me in. Shit. Parkour, bro. You should do some kind of working out with SJ in VR, doing them squats and stuff. No, maybe not. Yo. Where is this? Hello? Oh. Now you show yourself. Thanks. Bingo Bronco. Oh. That's shotgun. Okay. Mikey, if you're gonna work out while playing, you buy a Wii, not a VR headset. A Ring Fit. What's wrong with the VR headset? I think it's been a great workout. I'm enjoying myself. Hello. Oh my lord. Hey, remember there used to be an explosive barrel here? I wasted it. Come on. Little gremlins. No, it's one bullet. Jesus. Jesus. Oh.
All right, Russ. Really need you to talk again.
Absolutely. Be specific.
Before. What was life like before the Combine?
Ah, excellent. Alex, have you ever heard of a club sandwich?
Nope. Not once.
Right. To make a club sandwich, you need to start with bread. Not from a bread line, from a bakery across the street. Baked that day. Okay? You add tomatoes, lettuce, not vegetable paste, fresh. Then you add bacon. That's from an animal we used to call the pig. You toast the bread, and you put all that inside it.
You guys had all that? That's insane.
It is. And I'm not done. Then you add a second sandwich on top of the first one. You put ham in it, also from a pig, and turkey from an animal we used to call the turkey, and more tomato, more lettuce, and a bunch of other things I'm forgetting. It was 6 inches tall and weighed a pound and had a dozen ingredients from 5 different continents. It was the most impossible food item you could imagine in any age before ours.
Wow.
I know, right?
That is... wow. Thanks, Russ.
You're welcome, Alex.
Eat that. Because VR is expensive, and what if you end up jumping and falling face down? I remember being so stoked when there was a news segment for this game on TV for like a week before its release. I'm not talking to Necro until he cease and desists. There's way too much hype for how fast it died out. I don't think it died out. Personally. I know I say that as somebody who owns a VR headset and is a streamer, but like VR chat, and I know how weird this sounds. VR chat's very popular. Both to play and to watch.
When the writers create a new character, we try to write a variety of material from that character's perspective to help find their voice. What motivates them? What do they sound like? How do they relate to other characters? It's helpful to know the answers to questions like this early in a project, particularly when working with a team, where different people might end up writing for that character. The club sandwich story that Russell tells in this section started out as one of these writing exercises. The writing team wrote pages and pages of Russell telling Alex stories about life before the Combine, getting irritated with her, telling bad jokes, pretty much the whole emotional spectrum. As we refined Russell's character, almost all of that fell by the wayside. We needed to do that work to get to Russell, but most of it didn't sound like Russell anymore. Later in the project, we decided to make Alex scared of the dark, so we needed Russell to talk a lot in this section to keep Alex company. It didn't matter what he was saying, it just had to be this voice in the darkness that she was grabbing onto. And then we remembered, hey, didn't we write a rambling sandwich monologue a year ago? And the club sandwich speech was resurrected.
It does seem like this game is being streamed a second time around, though granted this goes graphics card, yes. Graphics card and director's commentary. I was interested in both. Well, the game looks, after restarting my computer, because it was ass, it looks great. So I think I just have to play every single game once. I want anything cool. Hey. There it is. I feel like you're supposed to be dead! Fuck. Okay. There it is. Yep, somebody in here. Coming out, sir. Like, can you not just believe that I'm this cool? With a gun? Huh? It has to be the second time around. He's just too fucking good. You know? Oh. Yeah. Okay. Okie dokie. Mamma mia. Whoa! Adios. I think I made this joke last time too. Oh, good. That helped. Hey, got it. Look at that chain reaction, baby. Oh, yeah. There it is. And there's this guy. Oh? Yep. Time to go. You are somewhat spoiled here. SJ holds you in the highest regard, even higher than he does comrades' criticism. What? And I don't hold everybody in high regard. Can we stop pretending that like whatever Mikey says goes? Do you have any idea how many times she's asked me for something and then I haven't done it? Because I'm a bad person. Okay. Hello? Okay, goodbye. Oh. Whew. It's been 3 hours. With PC problems, my hair being grabbed when I take off the headset. Ow. Hold on. My feeling. Do a man bun. I did. That's why I had to reset it just now. Good. Is that what you think? I'm feeling fine, by the way. Maybe a little fatigued from, you know, standing for 3 hours, but oh, it's fine. Strapping on 2 monitors to my face always makes me a little bit sweaty, because, you know, the warmth from the headset. But I'm fine. Funnily enough, I think it's cooler than it normally is. Take a sit. I have. I've taken a few. Can we do it again? Hello.
Wait, is that a dead Combine soldier?
Yeah.
When you guys were off sealing the reactor, I saw the Combine moving supplies in here. So, I guess they're interested in this place again.
Right, we'll keep an eye out. Something's definitely up.
The 4 squats for a bit. Just shower after stream. That's my plan. Yes. 4 squats is a bad idea. How about a couple more? Let's get real deep. Fine. Who do you think I am? We did 3 squats. He's gotta die. Hello? Manhack. Yeah. This is gonna be a problem. Fucking hate these. Don't shower, just wash your sheets. No, I'll shower. I think generally a good idea. As if I haven't done that every single time. Excuse me. Okie dokie. Mamma mia.
Okay, so right now, what it's like to live on Earth on a scale of 1 to 10. I'd say we're at a 2.
Yep, could always get worse.
What would you rate it before the Combine showed up?
Ooh, that's a toughie. I don't know. Good day? I'd say 6. Yeah, strong 6.
6? That's not great.
Well, that's life, Alex. You know, it's not always great.
Well, maybe we get the Combine off Earth and we could shoot for like an 8, you know?
Ooh, an 8. Yeah, that really would be nice. Really nice.
Oh shit, I forgot. So you keep it down over there? Hey! Hey, jackass!
Alex, you still there?
I just fell to my death. Yes, sir. There I was. Fell to my death. Yeah. Not a gun.
Wait, is
Good.
that a dead Combine soldier?
Yeah. When you guys were off stealing the reactor, I saw the Combine moving supplies in here. So, I guess they're interested in this place again.
Right, we'll keep an eye out. Something's definitely up. Alex, manhack! Watch
That's
out.
interesting.
See it.
F. Yeah.
Okay, so right now, what it's like to live on Earth on a scale of 1 to 10. I'd say we're at a 2.
Yep, could always get worse.
What would you
There we
rate
go.
it before the Combine showed up?
Ooh, that's a toughie. I don't know. Good day? I'd say 6. Yeah, strong 6.
6? That's not great.
Now, that's life, Alex. You know, it's not always great.
Well, maybe we get the Combine off Earth and we could shoot for like an 8, you know?
Ooh, an 8. Yeah, that really would be nice. Really nice.
This one. Fuck. Mikey, I take it back. I'm out of line when I joke about it again. Aw. Sure, she appreciates it. I thought that was a grabby boy. Now I just feel like a dwarf. I don't feel particularly crouched. Now listen here, Legolas.
When building a Half-Life game, we try to start playtesting as soon as we can, even when we only have 10 or 15 minutes of gameplay built. We find it extremely helpful to see how players are reacting to what we've made as soon as possible. One of the major ways playtesting impacted Half-Life Alyx was in revealing how players reacted to the density of interactive elements in the world. Before we began, we were already aware that players would likely spend more time paying attention to the details of the world around them in VR, but we were unprepared for how significant this would be. Seeing some players spend 30 minutes messing around with a single interactive object really opened our eyes. As a result of those playtesting observations, we spend much of our development time focusing on the environment around the player and the level of details and interactivity to be found there. It might seem surprising that we didn't start with the assumption that we wouldn't need to spend that amount of time on the world, But the reality of game development is that we always have a finite amount of time to build a game, and we're always making trade-offs. In the ideal case, we spend our finite time on whatever contributes the most.
Oh, good.
So,
Okay.
Playtesting early, and thereby getting a better sense of what elements are contributing to the player experience, help us understand where to spend the limited time we have. In this case, those early playtests told us to significantly increase the amount we should budget for creating the world details and interactivity.
Imagine this is a playtest and somebody goes, they do this for like 30 minutes. Just fucking with the dead body. Or jokes about me. Go on! Let's see it!
Barnacles are a unique enemy type in Half-Life Alyx in that they are static and often situated above the player's natural view direction. During testing in confined or dimly lit spaces, we often saw players walk into barnacle tongues without noticing them. One way we addressed this was with audio. In particular, we made idle barnacles emit subtle breathing, croaking, and grumbling sounds like the following.
My VR showcase.
These sounds helped alert players to the presence of barnacles, and also made them seem like living creatures that were always active, not just a mechanical piece of gameplay that responded only to the player's actions. The head-related transfer functions available in Steam Audio were especially helpful, as they made it possible to accurately spatialize barnacle sounds so that the players could tell that the sounds were coming from above.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Appreciate that. I thought I remembered manhacks in this. Guess I was wrong. Really? That hurt me? Okay. Give me something. Anyway. Yeah, why is my, like... My Streamlabs is, like, super bright for some reason on, my VR end.
Early incarnations of manhacks were frustrating to fight in VR, since their audio was not providing enough information about their location. They seemed to appear from nowhere, and even when close to the player, they lacked a dramatic presence. We tried a variety of layered sounds with varying distance fall-offs, but this often created more confusion, especially when multiple manhacks were nearby. Our ultimate solution to the problem consisted of two parts. The first was to make manhacks emit the following alarm-like warning sound when they first came into range, deployed by a Combine soldier. The second part of our solution was to add more aggressive looping sounds with short fall-off
How
distances.
did I get hurt? Okay.
The short fall-off of these sound loops meant that this specific component of manhack's sound treatment would only be audible quite near the player. Thus, when players heard these sounds, they knew that manhacks had begun hunting them, and one or more was getting close enough to be of concern.
There it is. That's how I remember manhacks in this room. So you've played a lot of VR by now. You ever notice like an orientation where you sometimes lose your balance? I mean, you don't see it, but I have a marker in my VR that shows where my room boundary pre-made is. And I always have my headset recorded so I can kind of feel and see in general where I am in my room. And then as for lack of balance, I've not had balance my whole life. So that's not new, per se. Sometimes I've gone like, whoa, in fact, just now I did. But otherwise, it's fine. Initially, I had a lot of movement sickness, but I kind of just got over it. And especially if games are like this. Right now, I'm experiencing this at 90. Pure 90 frame rate. And I'm feeling good. This is fantastic. So, really. I don't know what you're asking that to, but yes, really. I didn't lie in any of those. Don't know why I would. It's not exactly. Yeah, I lose my balance. No balance. Yeah, I stumble, fumble a decent amount. But oh hey.
Before Final Art was added, the clamped dark area of this level did not take players very long to traverse. But as the fidelity of the game increased, players spent more and more time getting to this point.
Hey,
as we've learned over
come here, hand.
years, too much time in dark underground areas can become
Oh my God.
fatiguing to players, and this is even more significant in VR. This outdoor section provides a change of pace and a brief respite
Hello?
from the dark.
There it is.
Not only does it give players something visually different and interesting to look at, it allows them to clearly see and assess threat in an open space, allowing them to get some easy kills with a little stress. It was also important to provide some variety here, as players are about to head into dark areas that requires precision shooting and flashlight usage.
Which clip can I use for YouTube Shorts? Whatever one I can find that I think will do. I don't really have a... I think my rule so far has been it's one from the week I was playing. But otherwise... it's whatever. Oh hey, you're alive. Ow. How dare you. Now this is pointless. Hold on. Hold this. Alright. I haven't done that before. Good. No, wait. God damn it. I wish I could just let me remove the bullet. It's in here. Oh. There are bullets in here. Let me take them out, put into a new clip, make a new clip in my backpack. Please. We put in some gamification, so that's too gamey. It's too gamey. You didn't cook it long enough. I'm hearing something. What's the explosion? How much resin do I have? 37. Cool. Can't open it with my hand. That's why. Are you what's exploding? Hold on. Just a moment. Just, oop. Trying to put up my hands. I should take care of them before they go over. Next, come on. Come here. Oh, you little fuck. Unbelievable. Oh, okay. Okay. Ah. That's what was going on. I've noticed the commentary is a lot less frequent now. Probably good. Oh, of course. If you want to recommend clips, feel free. Here's the handle that looks like a handle and nothing else.
So, when we get the Combine off of Earth, what are you gonna do?
I'm going full production mode on the Russell, of course.
Oh, of course. You'll be sitting on a landmine.
Gold mine, yep. So here's the plan. Conservative estimate, I figure 1 year to get the world unconquered by the Combine, get them off the planet. So that's year 1, then another year to mass produce the Russells. Although, just quietly, we will need to rebuild society first, you know, to get some basic infrastructure, jobs, money, that sort of thing. Otherwise people won't be able to buy them, you know. So, yeah, 3-year plan. Let's slot the infrastructure thing in for year 2.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You're gonna want to put that in year 2.
I'll look into it if you want recommendations, but... Okay, what is the but? What be the but? Really? Yeah, there we go.
This section, with a multitude of explosive barrels embedded in Zen overgrowth, was designed to switch up player expectations and change the pacing of the level. Prior to this point in the game, explosive barrels and canisters were used as offensive weapons. In this space, they're deadly to the player. If a barrel or canister does explode, it sets off a fatal chain reaction. This change in priority forces players to aim carefully and adds intensity without combat. This has the positive side effect of training players to
I shouldn't have done that. I thought, oh, what if I shoot it from here? Haha. Okay. Dumbass, they say to me. Drink some more water. As soon as I find it. There. Ooh. I'll put on the headset and then find my water.
This section, with a multitude of explosive barrels embedded in Zen overgrowth, was designed to switch up player expectations and change the pacing of the level. Prior to this point in the game, explosive barrels and canisters were used as offensive weapons. In this space, they're deadly to the player. If a barrel or canister does explode, it sets off a fatal chain reaction. This change in priority forces players to aim carefully and adds intensity without combat. This has the positive side effect of training players to utilize the pistol even more effectively. While the automatic alignment of the flashlight with a braced weapon is useful in direct combat, in this section we observed players taking advantage of the decoupled weapon and flashlight, as they illuminated and targeted barnacles in the intricate Zen foliage overhead.
The only clip I can think of is Dr. Darling dancing and music video and the Viscera cleanup ones with Lumen Puppet. Those are not from the week, and they're already in a video. This. So, I shall continue my work privately. Standing up. I don't really like this part. Does it just have to be a suitable non-PG clip for the week or what? It can be just a suitable clip, period.
Getting dark again.
Oh, careful, careful!
Yes, thank you, Russell. my mask. You guys made me break COVID guidelines! Cool. Where's 4 out though? But yeah, anybody can recommend anything. Whether or not I'll use it is a different question. There's no guarantee. Especially since this time around, it has to be shorter than 30 seconds. So I want to try out the new Shorts feature of YouTube. Even though I probably shouldn't, because it's bad. But hey. At least I would not use it personally, but obviously some people use it. And it's a question of whether or not I want the people that use it to be using my YouTube channel, and then generally I suppose the answer is yes. But at this stage, I can't really be picky, even though I probably should be. I don't know. Regardless, we can try it. It's one of those things.
We decided early on that the environments we wanted to portray in Half-Life Alyx would benefit from an investment in high-quality volumetric lighting. This component of illumination is an indispensable tool, not just for creating atmosphere, but for drawing the player's attention to critical gameplay elements. Our system works in 3 phases. In the first phase, illumination from static light sources is captured in a 3-level volumetric clip map surrounding the player.
But I want to.
The highest resolution level of this clip map measures 1 cubic inch per voxel. The clip
try
map
it.
is updated incrementally, less than once per frame.
I don't know if I should do it in the
as player
future.
moves throughout the scene. In the second phase, a compute shader ray marches in view space throughout the clip maps, accumulating static lighting, dynamic lighting, and volumetric extinction. The ray marching is performed every frame and employs temporal anti-aliasing to improve quality. In the final phase, we resample lighting and volumetric scattering from the prior phase for each eye once per frame. The result is a texture that describes, for any given view space depth, volumetric scattering and extinction, which we apply during forward rendering.
Should not shoot that. Yikes. Kind of hoping the zombie shows up around me. I can use these boys. Be nice. Look at this, a tough shot. SJ, Linny and Gopher are currently playing A Way Out. Cool. Like, on stream? I imagine? Read them after this. Hey, can I borrow that? Wait, how... No one else hear that beeping? What the fuck was that? That was like outside, wasn't it? That wasn't in game, was it? Did I grab that? Why am I so paranoid? Is it out of game? Do we need to look into that? Ooh. Okay. On Lenny's stream, Gopher is too shy to have his voice on stream though, so Lenny keeps telling chat what Gopher says and does. Aww. The silly Gopher. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna be real, the pure darkness is like some of the most immersive parts. Okay. Stop with the vibrating. No, 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 no. Wait. Okay, and you can't throw it either. No! Ugh. You can go fuck yourself. Still playing. Well. Oh my god. Do I need to heal? I think I do. Yeah, why not? Classic. You alright? Yeah. Spooky. I almost died. Jazz. Let's go this way. Cool. Oh, I need the thingy. Where did I place it? What was that? What was what? There's a grub in there. Yeah. You squish him and he gives the health. He gets crushed. We're not gonna talk about these handle designs. In their particular shape. Very eggy. I keep alluding. Oh, I should just say it. At this point, I should just say it. I've alluded to the joke like 5 times. I should just say it. Shoe. Put the shoe on. Ready to go. Just don't squeeze it too hard. What? Not quite. Don't know what that said. Because I don't get subtitles. Unlike you guys.
I'm good, Russ. I'm just gonna roll with these genes that I've got.
We always introduce new enemies at a distance, and never while the player is under duress. Here, the player is able to observe the Combine soldiers killing some wandering zombies, giving the player an idea of how powerful the soldiers are, and how they might operate in combat. We located the Combine far enough away that it was plausible that they would not notice the player, but close enough that the player could choose to engage, but remain relatively safe from return fire.
Yeah, until I fucked it up and didn't hit the part I wanted to. I see one more. I'm gonna say what it looks like. I'll do it. What? Okay. What? They look like pine cones or a light bulb. Yeah. What thing looks like? Yes. You'll see it. Oh, you'll see it. You all see it. Okay, so we can get Bullet Reservoir, which will double the ammo capacity, or the Burst Fire, which is an interesting thought, or a Grenade Launcher, which is worthless without grenades. I think we get the Rapid Fire. Auto double shot could be good. Auto loader could be good, but I don't think. Let's start with this. A burst fire. Don't put it where the sun don't shine. If you can't get it back, the ER visit's gonna be quite something. Uh-huh.
Wow, my gun's looking pretty good.
Russ, come on. At this point, it's kind of our gun.
Forget how you change the mode. It's not that. I shouldn't have done that. That was a live round. Shit. Okay, whatever. We're about to find out. Double shot. Hey, quick! Is it just tap the pause button? What does it say? Shot as the option to fire a second shot immediately after the first.
Oh, that should come in handy.
Twice to fire a quick shot. There it is. Now it should be in triple fire mode. Okay. Let's try this. Anything else? Hello. Okay. Let's take care of this guy first. Wonderful.
The first encounter with a Combine soldier caused a number of issues in playtesting. The biggest one was that players were often surprised when the soldiers started shooting at them. Some players who were new to the Half-Life series had no idea who these soldiers were, but it's also been hours of game time since players saw another human, and we found that many players weren't willing to immediately start shooting. Some players also wonder why Alex moved so quickly to killing other humans. This area was designed to demonstrate that Combine soldiers are hostile and will attack on sight, giving the player a reason to want to shoot back. It starts with the dialogue preceding the encounter, where the player overhears the Combine discussing the problem of scavengers in the quarantine zone. Then, when the player finally achieves visual contact with their first Combine soldier, they witness that soldier in the process of executing a civilian scavenger.
Portal! With a zombie.
We're here! That was it! Get down!
Hey. Well, I'm trying to shoot the thing. Shit. Okay, hold on. You can do it. Shit. There it is! Yay! I did the thing. Whoop. Of course, it's Sylvie. It's easy to do make one game a decade. Okie dokie. Okay, Mario.
Squad's Soldier AI has been a mainstay of the Half-Life series, so we were excited to see how their design would be impacted by the move to VR. Our early playtesting against the Half-Life 2 Combine Soldier AI in VR immediately made a number of things clear.
Got it.
First, the players did not like to be shot at, and often had a visceral negative response. The soldiers frequently ran at players at full speed, firing all the while, and we discovered that the speed of Half-Life 2 combat was simply too overwhelming in VR. Also, players took longer to do everything in VR, especially the core action of spotting and aiming their weapon at an enemy while staying in cover. As a result, the soldiers tended to live much longer in VR than they did in Half-Life 2. It was clear from these early playtests that the most common reaction among players was to immediately seek cover from enemy fire. So we started experimenting with changes to the Soldier AI, aimed at building a combat experience around players' tendency to seek cover. Early experiments were focused on keeping Combine soldiers at a comfortable distance from the player, while keeping them moving around enough to not have combat become too static. To create lulls in firing for players to peek out from cover, we prevented soldiers from shooting while on the run in most cases. To keep players from remaining stationary, we created a concept of flushing, where squads will attempt to flush the player out of cover, and we gave each class of soldier a different method of flushing out the player. But even in these early tests, it was also clear that players weren't capable of fighting soldiers until they'd gotten skilled in a number of basic combat actions, like reloading their gun without having to focus.
Why are my hands down there?
So
why are my hands down there?
Slowly introduce the
There we
various
go.
types of soldiers,
Oh!
and even individual features within the soldier classes. For example, these early fights against Combine soldiers only feature the basic grunts, and these particular grunts don't carry grenades. This means they don't actually have the capability to flush a player out of cover. We found it was important in these first fights to give players all the time they need to learn to use cover effectively, before we start introducing
Okay.
enemies that could try and flush them out.
That's cool.
There's a control station override nearby. You should have plenty of time to get the override back online. Alright, I'll be able to stop the train right here.
You sure you can do that?
Absolutely. You just need to activate the terminal. Right, that's the terminal there.
I'm on it.
Do hurry though.
Learn to say no more. Yes. That was a monitor. Step over here, because my monitor already has a dead pixel in it. Cool, cool. Cool, cool. I know you may be thinking, SJ, didn't you say that the dead pixel was fixed? Incorrect. Turns out I was wrong. Come on. Unbelievable. Just... There it is. Bye-bye. What? Where is he? Players will fail to fucking reload. Anyway. I'm looking for. Yeah, whatever. We'll start what we're supposed to be doing. There's something over there later. Mm-hmm. Give me anything? Thank you.
Yeah, there must be a battery around here somewhere.
You must think you're awfully clever. Come on then. God. This may be the last level. As the headset's starting to give me a headache. It's missing the barrel. The big thing of cheese. That's what it is. Last level. Yep. Yep. Oh. Yes. No. No free stuff. Seriously? Can't grab this? Pew pew. What do you mean pew pew? Did you just get a notification? Why does Twitch hate me?
Okay, no worries. But the train is coming. Just get me in. It'll only take a second. You're doing great.
Yep, doing great. No worries. No worries. No worries.
Okay, now just re-engage the system.
Is this supposed to come off?
It's the opposite of what it's supposed to do, Alex.
What do I do? What do I do now?
Well, don't panic. We'll stop panicking if you
I'm
are.
not panicking.
Yes, but I am. We need to find another way to stop this train.
Hello.
There's gotta be another way to stop this train.
What? 10 seconds, Alex.
At this point of the game, we knew we needed a big set piece, a non-combat moment to reward players for fighting their way through the dark, scary tunnels. Not only that, but the pace of the story was leading up to its most important moment, the rescue of Eli Vance. Crashing the Combine prison train that was transporting Eli felt like the exact right thing to accomplish these goals, and it gave us the opportunity to create some VR spectacle. We wanted to achieve the cinematic chaos of causing a train wreck, while giving the players an active role.
No, I said it with an accent on
Our
purpose.
first attempts to design the scenario were
Last level. Y'all. I know I said it goofy, instead of me saying the last level. The last level? If it's coming out of my mouth, I know what it is. I know what I'm going down, dude.
There's gotta be another way to stop this train.
The only thing that'll make me slip into any kind of southern accent is saying y'all.
Okay, just throw the switch there.
At this point of the game, we knew we needed a big set piece, a non-combat moment to reward players for fighting their way through the dark, scary tunnels. Not only that, but the pace of the story was leading up to its most important moment thus far, the rescue of Eli Vance.
This is a lot cooler than it was last year.
Crashing the Combine prison train that was transporting Eli felt like the exact right thing to
Holy
accomplish these
shit.
goals, and it gave us the opportunity to create some VR spectacle. We wanted to achieve the cinematic chaos of causing a train wreck, while giving the players an active role in the event. Our first attempts to design the scenario were a challenge. It turned out that directing the players' attention wasn't as simple as ensuring they were in the right.
These are the sucky guys that'll
In our
kill
initial tests,
Eli.
players frequently failed to see some or
Papa
all
Vance.
of the spectacular train wreck. The crash was one of the first destruction sequences we put into the game, so we had a lot to learn about player behavior in VR and how to direct the player naturally to immerse them in the chaos. On top of that, to continually hit our target frame rate, we needed to create a cascading series of events so that only some of the destruction was happening at any given time. Sound design, level design, effects, and animation had to be carefully coordinated to lead the
Hold on,
player
I'm listening to the
each
commentary. Hold on.
stage of the wreck. For example, at the start of the crash, we used the sounds of train cars piling up in the distance, encouraging players to look in that direction before
I lost
one
my
of the
mask.
train cars lifts up and blasts through the concrete connector. At the end of the sequence, the smokestack collapse is used to direct the player's attention to their eventual path forward, and we wanted players to witness its destruction. Before bringing down the smokestack, we gave players a brief moment of rest, and, again, used sound to draw their attention to the smokestack. Initially, we used a rumbling sound preceding its collapse, but we found this to be too subtle in practice, and instead added the transient explosion sound, which drew the player's attention towards the smokestack more relentlessly.
Okay.
Dad!
Thank you.
I'm over here, honey.
Okay. I'm gonna reach out and pull you up. It's gonna be okay.
For the rescue of Eli, we wanted to create a tense, just out of reach moment where the player physically saves him. But for the rest of the story to work, Alex and Eli had to take different paths at the end of the scene. We tried a few different approaches, including a version where Eli was hanging from a ledge just in front of the player, and the player could reach down to attempt to grab Eli's hand to pull him up. In practice, however, players' hands would collide with the real-world floor. Not only did this make it impossible to reach Eli, it took players out of the moment, wrecking the emotion of the scene. Since Eli and Alex had to take different paths, we tried an approach where Alex rescued Eli, but he was injured and couldn't proceed. Unfortunately, many
Some kind of vault, but they're about to move it. Where, I don't know, but it's gonna be soon.
Then we gotta steal it before they do.
Yes! And look, I managed to pocket this Combine data pod. If I can decrypt it, we can figure out how to use their weapon against them.
So what's the plan?
You head to the vault. I'll take this thing back to Russell's and get to work.
Wait, where is the vault?
Dad, where's the vault?
Look to the northern star.
Yes. Look to the star. Got it. Dad?
It's right in the middle of the QZ, and it's big. Get above ground and see what you can find. I will accompany the Eli there and ensure his safety.
Great. Thank you. Dad, I'm gonna go find this vault.
Go! Stay safe, baby. I love you.
I love you too.
For the rescue of Eli, we wanted to create a tense, just out of reach moment where the player physically saves him. But for the rest of the story to work, Alex and Eli had to take different paths at the end of the scene. We tried a few different approaches, including a version where Eli was hanging from a ledge just in front of the player, and the player could reach down to attempt to grab Eli's hand to pull him up. In practice, however, players' hands would collide with the real-world floor. Not only did this make it impossible to reach Eli, it took players out of the moment, wrecking the emotion of the scene. Since Eli and Alex had to take different paths, we tried an approach where Alex rescued Eli, but he was injured and couldn't proceed. Unfortunately, many players would stick around, not wanting to abandon him. Eventually, we arrived at the solution that shipped in the final product. Separating Eli from the player with the Vortigaunt's rescue made for a much more meaningful return and fulfillment of the Vortigaunt's promise to help Alex. The datapod that Eli found was an addition that not only let us integrate Eli back into the story later, but also gave him something to do, so there was a much stronger reason why he would not accompany the player on their journey going forward.
Got a box for you. Dude, listen to that one twice. I feel like I fucked up. Listen to that one twice. Knock. Okay. There it was. That was the last level. Ooh. Ooh. How about that? Do we have phone? Excuse me. Rich. Utu raid. That was very interesting stream. I thought Lenny was streaming. Was Lenny not streaming? Did I misinterpret what Necro said? Whew. Please just take off regardless. No, no what? What do you mean no? What? What? He streamed on Sunday. I thought, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's very early for her, wow. Because I'm always asleep. Why so soon? I kind of have a headache. And I need to leave in about an hour anyway. It's been 4 hours. I'm pretty sure it's been 4 hours. Probably. What do you mean, What's the for? Get well soon? Well, I mean, I'm already better. Just not wearing the headset is good. You know? Thank you for stream. Thank you for hanging out. Yeah. Stream, Mr. Streamer, sir. No problem. I might come back to this tomorrow. I might not. We'll have to see. Neo won't be happy, but there was supposed to be an update to Later Alligator. I might check that out, but possibly not. Okay. We'll see. But you guys have a good evening. Have a good night. See you later. I think we'll just forego streaming raiding today. Guys, later. Farewell. Goodbye. Bye. Don't say it like that. Bye. I was gonna play the part where the Vortigaunt just said that he has a brain injury. But is this the closest? And the idea was not playing. Don't get a computer. Computers suck.
I'm sorry to...
My brain is injured.
That's terrible. Ow. And I hope... Look, I'm actually pretty busy looking for my father.
Well, that's one view. Okay, I'm gonna go. Goodbye. Best of luck with that. Let me know if you need any help, but then again, I'm not very experienced at the same time.